Today we're here at the San Diego Safari Park. We're here to interview certain staff members to talk about how rehabilitation has caused disruption in the animals' lives and the places around them. At the safari park, the main purpose of the animals being here is to rehabilitate them and bring certain species back from extinction or close to extinction. Let's step into the park and talk to some staff who have answers to some of our animal-related questions.
First, we're going to talk to Bradley, a staff member who works with elephants.
So with the elephants, are you able to reintroduce the animals back to the wild?
Not at this time. We'd love to do it, but it's just not right at this time because there's so many poachers out there. It's a dangerous situation for them to go back out there. But if we got the opportunity to put them back in the wild and we knew they'd be safe, this park would love to do that kind of thing. But it's not the right time, unfortunately, yet.
Okay.
Yet.
So it's safer for them here than out there?
Way safer here.
Okay.
Definitely. And that's why we're always working on genetics here. We're trying to get different bloodlines here, so when the day comes that they do get reintroduced into the wild, it won't just be like we have this one family's bloodline and this one family's. That way we'll have a good, strong bloodline that could be reintroduced possibly in the future.
For our project, we're wondering about reintroduction of animals. So can you tell me a little bit about the reintroduction of lions back to their natural habitat?
We typically do not reintroduce cats to the wild, and the reason for that is if they're born here, they raised here, you put them in the wild, they'll be fed and cared for by us here. You put them in the wild, they normally learn a lot in their first few months of life, and so you'd be reintroducing them to the wild that they wouldn't be familiar with.
Now we'll talk to Sonia about the reintroduction of California condors.
Can you tell me a bit about reintroduction of animals back into the wild?
That is a big topic. To put it briefly, yes. We here at the Safari Park have participated in some of these projects. One of the biggest ones we're known for are California condors. So in the early 1980s, the population of California condors was very, very small. The decision was made through a couple different organizations to bring them under human care, see if we could breed them, increase those numbers, and then hopefully re-release them into the wild. To compare, from the early 1980s, where there were less than 25 birds, now there's over 400 birds, including those under human care, but as well as flying free. And so they're doing well.
Does it often work out well, the reintroduction?
I want to say yes, because a lot of research goes into it. You don't just decide, hey, we have this population of this animal, we're going to put them back where they originally belonged, because sometimes that habitat no longer exists and it's unsafe to return them to them. So that would be very irresponsible on our part.
How does the reintroduction affect the species way of life, or
the one that's being reintroduced?
Yes.
It depends. If they were raised under human care, then definitely there's a graduation process of being able to maintain their own life. So find your own food, not approach people. And I'll give you an example with California condors. Those that are raised here are raised with as little human contact or influence as possible.
How does the species being reintroduced affect the ecosystem around it?
Generally, the species that we would look to reintroduce are umbrella species, so they have an effect on what's going on with everybody else. So if they're doing well, then the other animals there will do well too.
As we've walked around the safari park and talked to staff members about the rehabilitation and release of their animals, we have found an answer to our question.
The San Diego Safari Park is doing the absolute most it can to release as many animals back into the wild as they can.
Unfortunately, not all of the animals are able to be released because they have been living in the zoo for too long and wouldn't know how to survive in the wild.
Hopefully the safari park can find a way to reintroduce these species into the wild in the future.
But for now, they are doing a great job making the park a comfortable home for all of the animals.